I'd like to welcome everybody to the October board meeting. I want to wish our chairman good luck. He's come down and tested positive for COVID, and he was supposed to have had a shot or something today. See if that's going to help him get through it. He told me last night he was feeling good. I think he told Bill something that he was feeling a little bit of a difference. But we wish him well. He'll be in quarantine for 10 days. So everybody pray for him. And first thing on, besides that, we need to approve the agenda for today.
So moved.
Got a motion to approve the agenda. Do you hear a second?
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And next thing we'll do, we'll have a pledge to the flag. Casey, if you'll lead us in the pledge, we'd appreciate it.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Before we get comfortable, I think we've got a birthday in the crowd today. Isn't that right?
That's right. We all want to wish Miss Sandy back there a happy birthday.
29 again.
Y'all bear with me now. It's been a long time since I've had to do this. We had disbursements that were sent out to you, and if you didn't get them, I've got a copy of them up there somewhere.
Did I miss the capital fund disbursements? I may have missed it. There are a lot of it.
I believe Danielle said there was no action in that or the FEMA.
Okay. All right, super. I move we approve.
Got a motion to approve the disbursement. Here a second.
Second.
Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Then we move to the principal's report. Ms. Whiteneck. You.
After hiding with the crew.
All right.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Mrs. Whitenack from the Ralph Askins Elementary School.
Hi, my name is Ellison France, and I'm in the 4th grade. Hi, my name is Norma McCormick, and I'm also in the 4th grade.
And this is my dynamic duo to tell you the great happenings at Ralph Askins.
October 12th through 13th, we had blue ribbon process. We hope we will get the results soon. If your parents did the online blue ribbon survey, we get to silly string the principal, assistant principal, and teachers. Harvest happenings will be October 21st. It will be lots of fun. Lastly, we have the character trait of the month. This month's character trait is cooperation. These are some of the great things we do at Ralph Askins.
All right. Thank you. All right. You have to introduce your guest. Ms. McCormick, we'll let you go first with your guest. Who's with you? Who do you have with you? What's his name? We don't know who that guy is. The best person in the world.
Adam McCormick.
There you go.
You introduce your guest that you have with you.
I'm Lindsay, and this is Robbie.
And that's Emery.
Emery, I have a granddaughter named Emery. Thank y'all so much. We appreciate it.
Thank
You did a great job.
Great job.
We
Yes, I
appreciate
did.
y'all.
Girls.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Ms. Jean.
Items that blue ribbon process, the the parent survey, Ralph Askins led, it's the most that they'd ever seen. The surveys were unbelievable, how many surveys they had turned in.
That's all.
It was great. Christian?
Hey, come on in. I brought with me this afternoon our host of our morning show every morning. I'm sure y'all see this on Facebook. So Miss Caitlin Barnes, our guidance counselor, I presented this to her, and she has taken over and ran with this program. And the kids do a majority of the program. Our Blue Ribbon, the man and lady that were there today got to actually see the behind the scenes, and our parent group that was there got to see the behind the scenes of what all the kids do. And Miss Caitlin can tell you a little bit about what part they play in that.
So every morning, these two girls, along with our script writer, which is a very important job, but they're not here represented with us tonight, and then our teleprompter, someone who scrolls for us, and then we have a video tech and an audio tech to make sure the recording is happening. So all these students come in. For middle schoolers, that's a big deal. That's a big responsibility to be there every morning at 7:20, 7:30. Get there, practice the script, come up with the script. They're doing this outside of just at during that time period. So they're doing it at home. They're working on it all different times of the day. So they're worked really hard on this, and they do it every morning. So it's a commitment, and they're very dedicated. All the students are who work on this, and so they're just going to give you a little snippet of what it's like to be a student at Fayetteville Middle School watching the morning show.
Good evening, Tigers.
Hi, I'm Reagan McVeigh.
And I'm Emma Jacobs. Today's date is Thursday, October 14th, 2021.
For our news, Beta Club would like to let everyone know that boo bags will be on sale from October 18th to October 22nd. They will be on sale at lunch for $2. You can get one for a friend, or one for yourself, or one for your boo.
Now, an announcement from Miss Butler about the Beta Club. Each month, the Junior Beta Club will have a service project. For October, they will celebrate Socktober.
Every night in the United States, 600,000 people are homeless. They need simple things like socks to help them get through the night. People rarely donate new socks to those in need, so Beta is going to make it their mission to make a difference.
During Socktober, each homeroom will bring in pairs of new socks and turn them into their homeroom teacher. The homeroom with the most socks will get an ice cream sundae party.
We are excited to announce that our basketball team has their first game next Monday against South Lincoln, starting at 5 at home. The girls will play first, with the boys following.
Also, 8th grade volleyball night will be at halftime during this game.
Monday is awards day. 6th grade is at 9:05, 8th grade is at 10, 7th grade is at 10:50, and 5th grade is at 1.
Speaking of awards, we have a few students and staff that we wanted to recognize.
Every month, students and staff will be recognized for going above and beyond to help others make our school a better place.
This month, the 5th grade teachers chose Anna Prince. In 6th grade, we have Rylan Stewart.
In 7th grade, we have Blessin Washington was the choice, and 8th grade, Kaylee Gross was chosen.
For the teacher of the month, we have our 7th grade science teacher, Miss Hicks, to congratulate.
And last but not least, we have Miss Bridget Smith for our educational assistant of the month.
Congratulations again to all these students and teachers and the exceptional job they are doing. Now, for the joke of the day.
What do you call two witches sharing an apartment?
What?
Broommates.
Signing off of the FMS Morning Show, where we're big enough to make a difference, but small enough to care.
Thanks for joining us. Go Tigers!
The Blue Ribbon people talked to me about this. They see this stuff all over the nation, and they thought y'all two of the best hosts they've ever seen. I mean, they really were bragging today about what a great job they were doing. Well, then, I mean, they were telling me about it.
I have a question. So I've seen behind the scenes, but not like behind the scenes. So tell me how that, it was actually a teleprompt, but it was moving as they were reading. The pages were scrolling. How does that, and it was highlighted her. one color and her another color, just like a news anchor would have. So how does that work?
So we have a script. It's just a Google Doc that we make a copy of every day. One of our other students does that, and a sixth grader actually. I have two sixth graders who are very into this and very dedicated as well. So that's very impressive to me. But they make sure that the highlighting is there so they know which one should say which thing. And then, so the copy of the Google Doc is there. And then we have a teleprompter. And they, right here, you couldn't see it, and Reagan's really with it. I offered to do it, but I would not have done it that well, so I would not have figured it out. But they just scroll. Luckily, there's a chip right here, and they just scroll down. And so that's how the script moves. The Google Doc, it's not anything more advanced than a Google document, and it just moves as they're speaking. So that's how it's
Future
done.
news anchors.
All right, introduce your guest that you have out there.
Yeah.
Come on, parents. You want to come in? We want to see who we got.
I was running my mouth.
Yeah.
Like
That's
a middle
what preachers
schooler.
do. So
That's right.
She's so quiet.
You were real talkative a second ago. You know our names?
Here it is.
Oh, I introduced their names. This is Bruce McVeigh. Am I allowed to call you by your first name?
Today.
This is Bruce McVeigh and Jennifer McVeigh, and they're my parents.
glad that year.
And Jennifer teaches at Ralph Askins.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I don't have my guests because
I saw her driving in the parking lot. I don't think,
Yeah.
I don't know.
She had to
Knew that
drop
she was-
her off and then go pick up
Yeah,
someone
she had to go
else.
pick up my
Well,
brother.
we're glad to have you anyway. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Yes.
Well done.
Thank you.
Good job.
I'm impressed that they were standing there. How big was the font on that, Sandy? That's
It was a very
6 feet.
Sandy, me and you, we gotta pick it up. I was gonna say, I use that sometimes, and you know what mine is? I tape a piece of paper. It's literally a piece of tape, it's a paper, and I'm looking at it, so.
You might want to call the girl.
Yeah, I'm gonna call the girl, you're right.
Mr. McCormick.
You ready?
Look at this, I knew that his dress.
Yeah, I mean, they come, look, he got the bell buckle and everything. We have Kaysen in Savannah with us tonight. They're going to tell us a little bit about what FFA has going on. October is obviously a very busy month for these guys, and they've got some interesting things that they're going to share with you tonight.
Before we start with the FFA thing, I know the blue ribbon was a big thing going to the school, and I was able to sit in on that and kind of answer some questions, and it went really well, and everybody in the room was very active and talkative with the people that came from Blue Ribbon. So I think that went really well with the students.
Yeah, and to piggyback off what he said, I'm glad you mentioned that. When I met with the Blue Ribbon representatives right after they got finished, and they were talking about, like, man, your kids, they have no problem telling you what they think. And I was like, no, they don't. I was like, we do encourage that. So he said a lot of places they go, they don't get the engagement a lot of times from the student groups, because obviously it's somebody they don't see every day. But all of our kids were well represented. They did a very good job talking about our school and expressing some things to the Blue Ribbon people, so y'all did a phenomenal job. They were very highly complimentary of everybody.
Thanks for feedback.
So at the beginning of the year, right before school started, actually, D&J River Farm actually allowed us to go and handpick some sweet corn from their fields that they have, and we used that as our very first fundraiser to kick off the year, and that was very beneficial for us to get us a head start into all these upcoming competitions and field trips we got coming up that Savannah's going to talk more about. And I know some of y'all were at the CTE meeting a few weeks ago. We did talk, I mentioned our Conduct of Chapter Meetings team and our Parliamentary Procedure team are competing on November 4th at Lincoln County High School, and those are both kind of debate teams. And in Conduct of Chapter Meetings, that's only freshmen are allowed to compete in that competition.
The competition, can someone come watch?
Not in the room with them. It's just the panel of judges.
Okay.
And
I was gonna say, 'cause I'd like to see that.
the judges actually consist of ag teachers in our district, but the freshmen have to memorize opening and closing ceremonies for the FFA meetings, and then they go into debate and then close it out. But Parley, we just do strictly debating. And then, actually, me and Savannah, for our chapter meeting this month, We're kind of doing Halloween themed, and we're in charge of planning that. We're going to have a costume contest, and we're going to have a bunch of different prizes for that, and I'm excited to see what everybody comes dressed up as.
We had someone come as a banana last year, so we are ready for that.
Yeah.
But at the end of this month, we are attending the National FFA Convention in Indianapolis, and that's where you will go and attend sessions and hear speakers, and then we also go to workshops, so you get more hands-on experience with that, and that will be around Halloween as well. So we're having our chapter meeting before that, so that we can head out for that. But we also have our next big upcoming event we're preparing for is our trivia night, which I do have a flyer. It printed out not very well, but I have it for y'all, and that is November 6th. And that we are sending out our officers to go get sponsors from local businesses for our door prizes and different things that we have going on for that. And we're preparing for everything that we need for that night. And that will start at 6 o'clock and go till about 8. And all the other different things from that are going to be on the flyer. And our last thing is our last exciting thing is 3 weeks ago, we had 2 new additions to our ag department. We started a small animal lab, and we have 2 new bunnies. That is Brooks and Dunn. And the ag students, all the ag students have a rotation where we will clean out the cage or give them food. Different class periods have different needs, and they cycle through different kids. And so we have that, and kids love the new bunnies. But they are super cute.
That's all we have.
Great. Well, thank y'all so much. Do you have any guests? Great. They drove.
I was gonna say, they drove themselves. They're good.
What a great job. Yes. Great leaders. You're so appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you, guys.
I love the kids when they come talk.
Supervisor report, Mr. Jones.
Good evening.
Howdy.
How are y'all doing? My report will be pretty short this evening. I'll hit some high notes. First, I'll start with a good thing. We've got a new bus driver. I'm very pleased to have Chad Barnett driving full-time with us, and he's doing a great job. We've got a couple more that'll be coming online as soon as we're able to give them appointments for testing. As with everything, it just takes a while sometimes. Moving on to a matter of concern, it's not grave concern at this point, but it's something everyone's aware of. The supply chain issues that are affecting everything nationally are affecting, things in Fayetteville City Schools as well. So I'm pleased to be able to say that for the first time, and while I've been doing this, we would be able to answer work service calls almost at a real-time level if we were able to get parts. I think we have 5 active requests, and they're all awaiting parts. That's going to be probably how things will be going. As we get parts in, some will drop off, a few more things will come on, but this affects everything from curriculum items to nuts and bolts and compressors and motors for HVAC and just everything touched. Buses, for example, our bus fleet has had issues with this because we'll have a part on an older bus and it might take 3 months to get that part in. Well, if that's our spare bus, then we don't have a spare, and we're taking a piece off of this one and robbing Peter to pay Paul, and it's not bad, but I just want everyone to be aware that is something that we're going to work through, and I'd say at all levels that's something that may be something for us all to keep in mind over the next few months until these issues are resolved nationally. That being said, I'm very pleased with the work of Jeff, Richard, and Knox. They have really done a lot of great things in spite of the fact that we don't always have the exact right part that we need. They're able to modify and adapt, and it's good. It's nice to be able to find solutions. The last thing I'd like to talk about is actually it falls over into the finance report later, and you'll notice there are a couple of requests for approval there's one for a JBHM invoice and also one for Hoffman Land Survey. What I'd like to do and what the plan will be, The reason I'm bringing this up is because I hope I can make everyone familiar with the process at this time, and then as these come up, you'll know what's happening. As we get these, Greg, who is our project manager, he will say, okay, I think we're going to approve this. We'll send it to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for a vote, and we'll also send it to this board for a vote. This really is just an above and beyond step that we want to do to make sure that we're as transparent and compliant. The language of the grant, the most restrictive qualifications and requirements, this would be having it approved by 2 boards is about as restrictive as we can be. And if at any time as you get agendas, if you want to know more information about some of it, it's always going to be, you know, JBHM, for example, is a bill for architectural design. But I'll be happy to have individual conversations or provide more information as they come up. But those will be coming up with more frequency as we go along the project, which seems to be going smoothly right now.
Broadus and Associates, our construction manager, they vet everything.
Every single thing.
The process before it comes to us, which is huge.
Greg is so good at his job that this being the first project in Tennessee, I know yesterday, for example, he had a conversation with Tennessee TEMA personnel, and he was giving them suggestions on ways to streamline the process for future projects in our state. So we are in good hands. I feel comfortable about it. And that is the bulk of my report, but I'll be happy to try to respond to any questions you may have.
Yes, sir. Did they finish the borings and all that at this?
Yes. And everything
no results yet, but they have finished.
Actually, the unofficial, we do have results. Unofficially, everything is in really good shape. There's rock on the hill, which, you know, if you look at the hill, we're not going to be able to take the hill down very much without blasting, but we don't have to. We can, if we decide, as those of you who've been around either as parents or board members for a long time know that, you know, if we can just skim a little, make some parking, and then push that down into the gap, it's all the better. It's actually going to work out pretty advantageously, and Greg was excited that the groundwork may not be very expensive because we can take what we need to take off and put it in for fill, and the trucks stay on campus, so it saves us gas.
Thank you.
And that was the second round of drilling, right?
Yeah, so we did
some of the findings.
We had done some initially, then they went back, did a few more just to make sure that nothing had shifted in that time, and then we dug some test pits to see what previous ground packing and things like that had done, and they said it was as good as any they'd ever seen. So all the engineers were very pleased with it. Yes, yeah. And as far as way down in the ground, as far as they could test, everything was in good shape. If it's, you know, it's beyond if there are caves or anything of that nature, it's well beyond the realm of what should affect the surface.
But you want to go ahead and vote on these invoices while he's still here?
Should we wait, Lisa, so that you can explain stuff, or how?
You can actually go on and vote now. We just need to have it in the minutes and then vote on each one separately.
So then you look there on the finances, what it is.
JBHM. Is that the one for $22,965?
See, the first one is in the amount of $3,900.
Okay.
It's the Hoffman Lands.
That would be Hoffman.
Your motion that we approve paying the invoice, do we go ahead and pay it or recommend it to the city?
Now, we will pay for it as long as the city, if the city ever doesn't approve it, then I would let you all know and we change it. Yes, sir.
Okay.
And so as long as that.
I move we approve.
Okay. Got a motion to approve the one to Hoffman Land Survey for $3,900.
Second.
Got a second? Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. And the second one is to JBHM.
It's the Broadus an associates firm. This is for $91,860. This is the architect.
Okay.
And it's 75% of the design is what this is for.
And for clarification, we will pay the bill in its entirety, then we will submit that to TEMA, and they will reimburse us later for the check. So we pay everything 100% on the front end, and then at each quarter or before, they'll reimburse us.
And I noticed he's highlighted that local funds would be $22,965, and then the grant would cover $68,895
Yes, sir.
of that $91,860. So
And
again,
we'll try to-
75% of that's being paid out will be reimbursed.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
I move we approve. That's all.
Got a motion to approve it. Get a second?
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No opposed? We're moving. Thank you, Eric.
Thank y'all. Have a good evening.
Yeah, this is exciting.
Next on the agenda, Mr. Giffen. He's gone short, he said.
I really don't have much tonight. I got just a couple of things. Report cards went home this week, so we've been working hard. For the first time you do that each year, a lot of little glitches you got to get fixed. So I've been at the schools the last couple of days helping them out. But we've gotten all that done, and next Tuesday, the 19th, we're having our ACT senior makeup test at the high school. So we've got that coming up, and I've been working with Keela on getting that all prepared. And like I've told you, a lot of the stuff I do is the behind-the-scenes data, updating, coding, and making sure our funding is correct as it can be. And so if y'all have any questions, I'll try to answer.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you. Have a good one. Doctors, you got a question?
I was gonna say, we'll let y'all know that Ms. Dodson and Ms. Tootin are doing some ESSER 3.0 planning stuff right now, and then Ms. Young is under the weather.
Hello, hello. Well, I just want to say the Blue Ribbon Schools process has started, and it's been very successful. We've had a team of educators come in. Some are retired superintendents, principals, teachers, and they've come from all different parts of the U.S. to help us out. And it's been really great because they've met with all teacher groups, they've met with parent groups, and they've even met with student groups, and they've pulled in all kinds of information to help our schools and to find out what we're doing great and areas we can improve on. And tomorrow is our last day of the process, and then we'll find out kind of what levels we fall into and what we need to work on. So I think it's been very good for the administration as well. And they've even analyzed our data and, given us a lot of good feedback. Another thing I want to talk about was, I noticed it was in here on the ARP homeless. That's an area that I work with through the federal funds, and I'm working on a grant. I'm just waiting for the last approval process to take place. But homelessness, and I was excited to hear that I think it's the Middle School Beta Club is helping collect things for our homeless students, which is great because we do have a pocket of students who fall into this category. And homelessness is a person or family who lacks a fixed, regular, and adequate nighttime residence, which includes sleeping in a public place, a car, or a campground. But it also includes those students who might live with other families. So one thing we did with our homeless money is we developed home visit teams at each of the schools, and they will go out into the community and visit with the parents, find out what's needed, and provide resources to those families. So I think that's a great way to spend our money, and our teachers were real excited about doing that. So that's all I have.
Honestly, the addition of having someone who specializes in federal programs has been huge, not only monetarily for us, obviously, because there's a great value in that, but also what it's done to be able to create these teams and do those things that help some of our most needed students.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good job.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Ms. Wilson?
First thing is that in the past we haven't had a sub-pay for bus drivers, and we have come up with a figure of $50 per hour to pay for bus drivers, or per day, excuse me, per day. Per day. Per day. And so we would just like your approval for the $50 per day.
It's never been in our salary schedule, but we've done that, and we felt it would be best if we kind of had that in writing.
Your motion that we approve the $50 sub pay for a bus driver.
So maybe.
A motion, your second.
Second.
On the question, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None.
So the next few things on the agenda are budgets that I need to have approved separately. These are new federal regulations that is coming down the pipe that we would need certain grants approved separately at our board meetings. So the first one is the ARP homeless grant, and this is what Claudia was speaking of. And it's in the amount of $7,189.53. And I would just ask for your approval for this grant.
To your motion that we approve FY 2022 ARP homeless 2.0.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Then the next one on the agenda is the FY 22 ARP Ideal Preschool, and this is for students with disabilities, 3 to 5 year olds, and the grant is $4,654.99. I would just ask for your approval for this grant.
To your motion that we approve FY 2022 ARP Idea Preschool.
So moved.
Your second.
Second. Then the next.
Wait a minute,
We'll go and vote.
All those in favor say aye.
She's getting them in there.
All those opposed say aye. For it say aye, whatever. It passed.
Guess we got kind of.
So the next one is the FY 22 ARP IDA Part B, and this is for 6 to 21 year olds, students with disabilities, and the amount is $69,820.28.
To your motion, we approve ARP ID Part B.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
And then the next one is ESSER 1.0. This is for Doug Eaton. He does our technology in service for the school system. And this is the remaining of this grant, and it's $22,848.33.
Your motion that FY 22 ESSER 1.0.
So moved.
Your second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
And then the final is the ESSER 2.0 grant, and it is the amount of $1,114,126.64. And this is where the gymnasium is going to be.
Well, it's the remodel of the back
Remodel
gym.
of the back,
And
yes.
they are actively working on it. It's just, they came to visit the other day.
To your motion, we approve FY 2022 ESSER 2.0. Your second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That it?
You said,
Very good.
can I ask a quick question about that? You said they came to visit the other, who they?
They being Cope and our construction management of Volker, they came to look at it. They brought some engineers out. It's a little bit of a struggle, some of the plumbing and electrical things that they're trying to do, obviously moving the classrooms. And getting you seen back there, it's a kind of a hodgepodge of plumbing and electrical, I mean, like worms and all that out there. It's just unbelievable. Anyway, so we've been pressing them pretty hard to pick it up. You know, we're ready to get this going. You know, because we actually had a student have their foot go through the floor of one of our portals. That's how bad they are. I mean, so we need to get the kids out of portals.
I'm sure you conveyed adequately our sense of urgency.
I did.
Thank you.
And I work with Volker pretty well, and I explained to them, we know you're working on a timeline, and we are too.
What's your timeline?
Timeline?
What's
We
yours?
have to have it done within 2 years.
Within 2 years?
Yeah, well, the money has to be, but I think Volker's timeline may be something like 16 months, and so they have to work over if they don't. And so they like to squeeze it, which is good for us. That's the reason we hire them, is to push. So, yeah.
But that 16 months and 2 years already started. That's not from tonight.
That's correct.
We're,
What, 2-3 months in?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think so.
Moving in the report from committees, facilities, and transportation, anything? Finance, we've already done, insurance and policy.
Bridget, you up, Marcy?
Oh,
No, Pam, she's up.
Again, we did not get to meet this past month because of schedules and sickness, but we have some policies that we need to approve on a second reading. Then we have one, the 3.601 student insurance program policy. That one needs to be removed. So I move that the student insurance policy, program policy, we need to vote on it per first reading before it's deleted from our policies.
Okay. Do you have a second?
Second.
All in favor? All opposed?
Okay, the next one is 4.212, the virtual education program. This is a policy that TSBA has updated. It has to do with the virtual education. They said that it may be subject to change in the future, but we talked about this last month and we just need to vote on it per second reading. So I move to vote on policy 4.212 for second reading.
And a motion to approve second reading, right?
Second, yes.
4.212. Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Okay, and our last two, these policies, we are going to revise these. The first one is the 1.703 school attendance area. And this policy deals with students who reside outside of Lincoln County that want to come to Fayetteville City. And previously, the policy said the board will require prior to enrollment that tuition shall be paid. And we're going to revise the policy to say any required tuition shall be paid, not that they have to pay it, leave it up to discretion. So I'll move to have the 1.703 school attendance area voted on for second reading.
With that correction.
With the correction of any required tuition.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion, question? All in favor, say aye.
Okay, and our last one is 1.800, which is the school calendar policy. And this one will be revised. And the revisions made to this one, we're gonna change where it says a minimum of 180 student attendance days to 178 days. The in-service education days will be 6, and then 6 discretionary days. So I move to have 1.800 school calendar voted on second reading.
Move to 1.800 school calendar be approved. Here a second.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
That's all we have.
All right, very good. Thank you. Mr. Superintendent?
All right, I request that you approve the field trip request for the FFA chapter to the National FFA Convention in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Do we need to?
Yeah.
Somebody.
Yeah, seriously, we just wanted
Yeah, swear a little bit.
So we got a motion to do it. Here a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Casey, you survived. There you go. You just walk out of the meeting. And I will say, I am glad that you know, we've got to be cautious, obviously, but we're having these opportunities for our children again to go to these things. So next field trip request from FHS Senior Beta Club to go to the Gaylord Resort Nashville. You'll have that information in your packets there.
And this is the annual liaison.
Yes.
So,
Got a motion to approve that trip?
Second.
Here a second, got a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Got one more.
Yeah, approve the field trip request from Fayetteville High School girls basketball team to South Pittsburgh for a basketball tournament.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ready?
Mr. Chairman, that's
Anything
all
else?
that I have.
The only thing I've got is today, well, all month is custodian appreciation month for the custodians, and today's the day to do it. So I hope somebody went and presented the
They do.
resolution to them. If y'all get a copy of it, okay, everybody's ready? Okay, very good, I don't have to read it. So, congratulations, we really appreciate the work that they do, because you couldn't open the doors if they weren't there.
Absolutely.
And, so, really appreciate it, very much.
And during this COVID time, we increased their amount of work. Obviously, that also increases their pay, but I mean, they clean at a level that they've never had to do before. I mean, it's unbelievable the job that they do.
I'll make a motion, we approve that resolution.
Here a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anything else? Mr. Bryant, you got anything?
No, I've said quite enough last week or two.
You just have to be here.
No, I don't have anything.
As we fulfill the agenda, I move we adjourn.